2024, it's about to end. It's mid-November, soon it's going to be December, and January 2025 starts. So before we finish this year, we want to have some self-reflection. And I want to talk about a Sahabi. His name was Amr ibn al-Aas radiallahu anhu, who reflects on his entire life on his deathbed when he was about 90 years old. He spoke to his son Abdullah, and he reflects on his entire life and divides it into 3 phases. He says the first phase of his life was when he was against Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He opposed Rasulullah. That was his Jahiliyyah time. And he says, if I was to pass away in that time, I would have gone hellfire. He was the worst at that time. Then he moves on to the second phase of his life, where he becomes a Muslim, and he says that in that phase of his life, he loved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than anyone. And he says, I had so much love for Rasulullah that out of reverence for him, I actually couldn't even look at his face. If you was to ask me to describe his face, I wouldn't be able to do that. And he is so confident of his love for Rasulullah in that phase of his life that he had this belief that if he was to pass away in that time, out of Rasulullah's love, he would have gone to Jannah. So in the first phase of his life, he's not a good person. He's opposing Islam. He's opposing Rasulullah. And the second phase of his life, everything changes and he is living the best life anyone would dream of. And then comes the third phase of his life. And this is after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, it's very important, before I talk about the third phase, we need to know that Amr ibn al-Aas, he was a governor of Egypt. He was a military leader. He was a political figure and a very intelligent person. So keeping in mind that he was a political figure who has to make political decisions, let's talk about his third phase. And third phase, he says, there were many trials and tribulations. There were many fitan. And I had to make decisions which were very difficult in that situation. When you are in a trial, to make the right decision at that time, it's not something easy. That's where many people make mistakes. And he acknowledges that he made mistakes. And this third phase, he doesn't know what his outcome is going to be. He is fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's judgment because he has made mistakes. And he is also hopeful in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy that he will forgive us. And then after that, he finishes his reflections and he continues to say La ilaha illallah until he passed away. So from this beautiful reflection for Amr ibn al-Aas, we also learn that constant self-reflection is so important. So this year it's about to end. And before we end this year, let's reflect over this year. Let's see what good did we do, what wrong did we do, and let's hold ourselves accountable for the mistakes we've made. When I talk about mistakes, I feel like some people think these have to be major sins that you've done. No. We don't always do major sins. Small things in our character that we need to improve. We need to be self-reflective about our character, about our personality. You know, the small things that we do wrong in our everyday life and we don't really pay much attention to them. Let's start paying attention to those things. We definitely learn from Amr ibn al-Aas that self-reflection and accountability are very important. Also, we learn from that third phase of his life that he has that perfect balance of hope and fear. And that's what we all need to have. When we are fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that actually really keeps us humble and grounded. And if we are humble, then we are saving ourselves from being proud and arrogant. And we make many mistakes because of our pride. So humility, it's so important. And we are hopeful in Allah's mercy. We are hopeful that He will forgive us for our mistakes that we've made. And this forgiveness, we want to take that as an opportunity to improve ourselves, to become better people and live a better life. So if we really want to improve our 2025, we really need to reflect on 2024, see what mistakes I've made, how can I correct those mistakes? These can be many mistakes in your studies, at work, in our character, laziness, demotivation, or social media addiction. Whatever mistakes we have been making, we need to take practical steps to not repeat these mistakes, because we all want to become a better version of ourselves. The words of Amr ibn al-Aas in his last moment are very deep, very impactful. Take a lesson from them. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.